We're 6 days away from SummerSlam and all hell has broken loose. We got new women's tag team champions, Samoa Joe is wearing dad jeans, the Street Profits are taking milk shots, and I forgot Monday Night Raw actually has a theme song. AfterBuzz TV, let's go!
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
We should really just stop playing that first song.
We're contractually obligated to play the song, TK.
We should really just not even bother.
How's everyone doing there in their land? My name is Flobo Boyce. I'm so glad to have you in the live in my second screen. This is a Monday Night Raw after show. Before we get into everything, because we're 6 days away from SummerSlam, Mac Lynch, the sounds are in the booth. Let's introduce the panel. On my far left, this guy is my favorite guy who is a late period WCW historian. There's only two in the world. He's number one of them. Give it up for Jack Farmer.
Hey, I'm so glad to be back. You know, I try to take advantage of every opportunity I get to be on the show, so super pumped to be here.
You have a hashtag, Bring Jack Back, right?
Hashtag Bring Back Jack.
Bring back Jack.
If you enjoy having me on the show, make sure to hit up those comments and in the chat, hashtag Bring Back Jack.
Putting himself over. To his right, even though SummerSlam is going to be in Toronto, this individual's from Toronto. Give it up for TK Trinidad.
I'm so sad right now.
Why are you so sad, TK?
Because I should be in Barbados one and actually also be in Toronto.
Happy Kadooment Day for those you celebrate.
Who day?
Kadooment Day. We don't call it
crop over.
Kadooment Day.
Well, crop over is the season, but the first Monday is called Kadooment Day.
Oh, well, they're celebrating crop over right now, but that's a whole nother...
Kadooment Day is a part of crop overs.
Oh, okay.
You're not even... Okay. So, Evan T. Mac is on assignment.
Yes.
Shout out to Evan T. Mac. And I've been playing this song about to announce a little bit. I have a little special announcement. So, one of our favorite contributors here on the show, hashtag Heel Jim Alexander, is not here this evening. He is actually in Chicago dealing with a medical issue. He will be out indefinitely. But thoughts and prayers are with him. When I first met Jim, I told you I hated the guy, but I've learned to realize he's one of the most honest and refreshing people I've ever met in my life, which is invaluable in this city. So I want to say, get well soon, my man, Jim. All right.
What was that like? Look like you like?
Because you said you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I do want to say it, but just how you did it was funny. But it's not funny. It's not funny that. Now I'm laughing. But definitely, it's sentiments. I feel the same way. I met Jim, and he was one of those people who just bum rush his personality on you. But he's been an amazing asset to the show. I think he's one of the reasons why the ratings for the show went through the roof. Actually, when if you guys know or follow the show, I entered the show maybe a year and some change, and obviously we've had a lot of changes since I've been on the show, and from the end of the year to this point, the numbers have been extremely high. So for those folks who hate him or love him, I think he's one of the reasons why you guys keep on watching, and definitely hope that he gets better and speedy recovery. I know he's going to be watching. I know he's going to be sending some messages, and don't let his sickness fool you. He will tell it like it is on social media, so definitely hit him up.
Yeah, bother him. Again,
and in his honor, I think we should play this theme.
Oh, God.
This song still sucks, Josh the Booth.
Listen, you gotta pay respect to Jim. Come on.
My God.
At least to his boy, just once.
My boy, Baron Corbin. 6 days away from SummerSlam, Monday Raw. A lot of things were happening, but first things first, Goldberg is going to the biggest party of the summer. Jack, WCW, what's going on?
Man, I cannot ever get enough of Goldberg. I'm glad he's back.
Says no one ever.
It's like a soap opera where like nobody ever dies or retires or gets like they get old, but it's just like not in a good way.
Right.
In all fairness, I never actually watched the Saudi Arabia match, and
good call.
my opinion might be different. I'm a fan of him. I mean, honestly, I'd rather see Goldberg Ziggler than Miz and Ziggler.
Fair. I was doing my notes and I was like, man, Ziggler versus The Miz, like the win-loss records of both these guys would not be impressive at all. Yeah. TK, can Goldberg recover from his last match in Saudi Arabia? I mean, that was pretty awful.
Yeah, I think we have to look at the numbers too. I agree. It's like how many people did watch Saudi Arabia? Like even I think it was a split though, because even like say if we take out the casual fans and all this other people who have the network, there's still a split and a divide because you watched it because you had to cover it.
No, I just did it for fun. It was Friday afternoon. I know that was better to do.
One of those people. But then there's
heel TK.
There's people who felt really strongly like it shouldn't be in Saudi Arabia for a lot of myriad reasons, and they chose to almost mini boycott that particular thing. So you have individuals who people watched it, WWE fans, but some people didn't watch it, some people did.
Yeah.
So I don't think it really matters either way. Almost a lot of the Saudi Arabia stuff, it just seems like it's that one-off that you just don't talk about.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of a lose-lose. If the match is great, it's kind of like, it's Saudi. But if the match is terrible, it's, you should retire. It's over for you. The Undertaker had to do the same similar
I
situation.
didn't hear that, though.
Oh, remember about Goldberg at all?
Yeah.
Well, I think with the difference with Ziggler, like, I'm a big Ziggler fan, but he will never be any more or less over than he is right now.
Fair.
He could win
Absolutely.
10 matches in a row, he'd still be the same guy. He could lose the next 10, he'll still be the same guy. But I think Ziggler can really make Goldberg look good at SummerSlam. I think it'll be one of the best spears we've seen in a long time when Ziggler eats a spear. And then he'll have some credibility back, and ideally I would love to see then Goldberg put over a bigger star like a McIntyre at another pay-per-view.
Okay.
But if
That
Goldberg's
would have been a
gone,
good match, though. Who's McIntyre going up against?
I don't think he's actually on the...
Cedric Alexander.
No, yeah,
Oh
is
my
that,
gosh.
yeah, as
The
of right
juggernaut,
now...
Cedric Alexander.
That why not Goldberg and oh my gosh.
Drew McIntyre?
Yeah.
There's no reason for it, but it can be a good match for sure.
Well, they could have built up to that.
They could
I would
have,
rather
yeah.
see that than
But
Ziggler.
I think if
Fair.
they did it now, we'd be like, yeah, Goldberg just lost. He's going to lose again. It wouldn't feel as good. I think as cheap of a win over Ziggler is, it still like kind of goes, oh, okay, he won a match again. Now there's a little bit more value.
Well, do we think so? You're thinking that Ziggler is going to lose?
Ziggler has no chance of winning this match.
If Ziggler wins, I'll be like, wow, they must have really decided we should get this guy a shot, you know?
Then Goldberg's match must have been really bad in Saudi Arabia.
It wasn't good. It was not good at all.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's really. I understand why we're bringing back. Well, I understand why they bring back certain names for Saudi Arabia.
Right.
But for something else like SummerSlam, people who come out SummerSlam, and I think I told you this. I can't remember if it was on air or off air. But like when I went to the one in Brooklyn, it was totally different. I have family that lives in New York, and I brought them to one of the shows, and they were just like, "This is a whole nother city." You saw people with their belts on. Also, it's like a whole nother thing. So I feel like, why are we bringing back Goldberg, who's great, but you have a whole bunch of people in the locker room that I think WWE fans would appreciate seeing as well?
Absolutely. I feel like there was a period of time, maybe between 09 and like 13, where wrestling was in a bit of a down period. And now when it's getting popular again, people are asking about these guys from this time period. Like, hey, I'm going to Saudi Arabia. You got that Goldberg guy? And Randy Orton guy?
Saudi
He's still
Arabia is
around?
different from SummerSlam.
Oh, for sure.
So
for sure.
Saudi Arabia, I think the deal was Saudi Arabia calls from what I've heard through the rumblings, Saudi Arabia is calling the shots, meaning that they're asking for certain people.
Fair.
And because they're paying so much money over extended period of time, I think it's either 7-9 years, something like that. Also, let me know in the chat. They have a little bit more
Shout out to Boyce.
leeway as far as who can come and who doesn't come, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas SummerSlam is legitimate SummerSlam, and they can build up to certain matches. They can use people in the locker room, and it's like, I understand why, because he's sentimental to some folks, but they have a whole bunch of people in the locker room that they could use as well.
I think WWE is finding itself in a real catch-22 when it comes to talent, because the reason they're bringing guys like Goldberg back is because they don't have enough big stars that can sell a show. But one of the reasons
Why do
they
I feel
don't
like
have...
this is Jim in the room? That was exactly what Jim said literally like 3 months ago.
But wait.
But it's
I'm sorry.
But the catch-22 is they're not able to get these guys over because they keep letting guys like Goldberg beat them. And so you can't. It's hard to build up those guys to a Goldberg level,
Right.
when every few months they're jobbing out to guys like Goldberg.
That's, true. If he's a ceiling, even at his advanced age, that's always the problem.
Yeah, but they're not always. Well, this is my thing. You have enough time to build a superstar. And you have enough time to figure out who within that roster could be the superstar. If you give them time, either mic time or whatever, and then storylines to showcase in front of the audience. But if you're not doing that, and then all of a sudden we have a pay-per-view, then of course we're not going to want to see that person, because we haven't seen them. We've seen them do look at Cedric Alexander. We've seen him do one or two things, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, this is what you're throwing together.
Oh, I 100% get that, but I do think they're in a what do we do right now, today mode, and so as a fan, I love the idea of building up a Cedric Alexander, for instance. I love Cedric Alexander. He was one of the people. I haven't watched a lot of 205, but when I was, he was awesome. But I think when we look, I think what the WWE is looking at is, what do we need to do today to sell a ticket? Because granted, you could get Cedric Alexander over, but it will take you time. And I think they don't think in terms of time. They think of, we need to sell out our show today.
Right, quarter, per month.
And that's, you're not going to sell out a show with Cedric Alexander. And again, that's the catch-22 is you can't sell out a show with Cedric Alexander, but he'll never sell out a show if you never present him as the guy selling out the show.
But you know the timeline with everything. Somebody, Haywood Wong said SummerSlam is the mania for hardcore fans, which I like. I love SummerSlam. I love going to SummerSlam. I'm really upset that I'm not going this year. But anyways, after WrestleMania, to me, that's the build up to SummerSlam. Like, of course, we have little pay-per-views here and there, but SummerSlam is the thing. So I feel like you have time. Like, you know, after WrestleMania, it's kind of like this lull because everybody's tired. They did WrestleMania. It takes a lot. You have 3-4 weeks to kind of figure out a storyline to build up to SummerSlam. And it's like, they just don't.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit later in our SummerSlam predictions, but they kind of like shot themselves in the foot by moving Money in the Bank up so early and having Extreme Rules be so watered down. In my opinion, that SummerSlam now just feels like it's cool review in the August month as if toward being the extravaganza it should be. But moving on, we have new women's tag team champions. Explain this one. So the Iconics were the first ones to be eliminated in a 4-way against the Kairi Sane and Asuka group. I'm not saying their other name. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Fire and Desire, and
Fire and Desire. You want to say Fire and Desire? But you don't say the other name?
I feel vaguely uncomfortable saying Asuka's and Kairi Sane's name though. It feels weird for me to be like the blank Warriors. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to sell there. They're Japanese, by the way, and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. So the Iconics. What happens now with that division?
I think this was kind of a hard reset for them with that match because I'm a fan of the Iconics, but clearly they've been off TV for so long and irrelevant for so long. Ooh. You can't just suddenly say, okay, now they're defending the titles every week without basically starting over anyway. So I think they wanted to say, look, we've got Bliss and Cross, they're on TV, they're doing stuff. Now we can have them do this, and there's a reason for them to be on TV, having matches, doing things where.
And they can wrestle.
And they can wrestle, exactly. Yeah,
that was the main thing. I think with the Iconics, they were great on the mic, but their wrestling skills were just not up to par compared to everybody else. And of course, you can work towards it and give it that opportunity, but it's just like. It's like giving a 5-year-old a belt and then you put them in the ring with, a giant. It's like...
Right. I agree with you, TK. I just found it weird that when they were doing that mini feud with Asuka and Kairi Sane, they were trying to slip out and not have a match with them, and then bam, they're just in a 4-way and they're okay with that. There was no heel resistance or trying to get away from the match. It was just, to me, it was kind of like you were saying a hard reset. It just seems like whatever, non-canon, we're starting over.
Something's going to happen during SummerSlam.
Are they going to get the belts back?
I don't think they're gonna get the belts back. Something's going to happen. I just don't know what it is.
Do you think that the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are gonna have that belt for a long time then?
Well, we all know that Nikki's great. Not Nikki. Alexa Bliss is great on the mic.
Sure, I'll give you that.
So she can create storylines just by being like the Iconics are great on the mic, but Alexa Bliss can create storylines and put up a good fight.
I love that team. I think they're fun. They're interesting. I think there's a part of me that's always waiting for one of them to turn on the other one without being super obvious about it all the time.
Right.
They're different. I think they're fun to watch. They're entertaining to me. I think that makes them a good team. I hope they hold on to them for a while. I think that division needs a team to hold on to it for a little bit. I think some of the other teams probably would have been a better choice for a dominant team, but but they're interesting. I'm never bored when they're on TV.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like we still have a lot of women in the locker room that we don't see on a regular basis, and with Alexa and Nikki, they seem like an okay fit, but it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like if we look at some tag teams of old, they make sense. It's like, okay, this makes sense.
Who makes sense? Just an example.
As far as women,
yeah.
Well, Sasha and Bayley made sense.
Okay.
Aside from their friend feud over the last 2 years, which is really stupid. Prior to that, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Nikki and Alexa is just like, it doesn't make sense. Although I could see Nikki kind of going almost turning crazy, like the old Nikki, and turning on Alexa.
Sure.
That could work, but
I'd love that.
There's still a lot of women in the locker room that we could have used that could be tag teams as well. And it's like there's I don't even want to say there's not enough. They're just not implementing them, but they're not implementing the women.
I gotta put you to task here, TK, because I'm thinking off the top of my head that Raw Women's Division is just riddled with injuries and people who are inactive. Like what? I know you can do SmackDown too because the championships can go to both brands. But I'm saying is if I'm going to build a legitimate like division on both brands, obviously you need to.
And why are we doing all 3 brands? I thought NXT was included.
Yeah, NXT was included, but I don't think they ever went. I think they went once. Boston Hug went for an appearance. They didn't even have a match, so it's hard to tell.
Because I'm thinking, and I know Mia Yim is up for the belt, but she doesn't win the belt. And I've always said this: Bianca Belair and Mia Yim would make a great team.
Right.
Just personality-wise, and the way they just carry themselves. I think that would make a great tag team, and I can actually see them holding the belts.
I think NXT is just a little too. It's like a separate world. I've always said it feels very much to me like it's college football and the main roster is the NFL.
Oh, cue the sounds. Okay.
Okay.
Not listening to me.
I don't know what sound that was.
It's like the boo sound.
Oh, okay.
So no, I mean, because I agree. We've chatted on NXT about those two. Fair.
It cuts off. Give it up.
No, but I mean, I thought that this was a Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose layup for them to be the next champions because they're always. It seems like they're always active. They're always wrestling. They're always
that would have been a good one too.
As a team that actually is a really good team. I don't know what else they can do at this point either. They're kind of lost, but they're both talents.
Yeah, and then they split up Mandy and. I'm just so confused. I don't know what they're doing with. Sometimes I don't know what they're doing with the women's division. I understand that there's injuries, but it's just like. You have individual stories, and I don't know if the women are pushing for this, or I don't know if the writers are pushing for this, but somebody needs to almost take a hard line and say, okay, we're gonna form legitimate tag teams within the women's division, and yes, you can go and do a singles match, but this is what we're gonna do for the next upcoming weeks. Else, what's the point of having a tag team belt?
Yeah, I know we're kind of light on time, but it's something to be said of how this time a year and a half ago, it just seemed everything was going for the women's division with the Mae Young Classic and the belts being made headlining WrestleMania, the tag team division. But now it's August and we don't have a Mae Young Classic announcement. We don't know what the tag team division is. Is the women's evolution at an end?
Well, I mean, they only did it once, and we already saw what the disaster it was because they were trying to squeeze that in within
Evolution, the Saudi show?
Yeah, the Saudi show, Evolution, that was really squeezed together. Mae Young was decent, but it was good, but it wasn't big as big as the first one. But you have to, if you're going to start at Evolution, you have to continue doing it. So they're not having the Women's Evolution this year. And we haven't heard any announcements about the Mae Young Classic, but I think we're in August, so we should have already heard announcements by now.
They're recorded in June and air in September usually.
Yeah. So there's no announcements, but maybe they're going to have it a little bit later and maybe do an inclusive thing where it's Women's Evolution and the Mae Young Classic, which I think they could have done too last year.
Yeah, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring.
So we haven't heard anything, but the way they did it last year was. It was just like, oh yeah, we have to do something for the women because this is the era that we're in. Versus this is what we're doing and they can do as much as the men.
Final thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, I don't think the evolution is over. I think it's definitely not at its booming point. I've heard said before on this show, but I agree with it that I think that as it started and especially as it went up to WrestleMania, they kind of used up all their fuel. And then after WrestleMania, they kind of, okay, now what? It was very much like, the thing with wrestling storytelling versus a lot of others is with movies end. And you go, yeah, we build up to this and it's over. Where with wrestling, you always have to have that, well, then what? And I don't think they had a then what.
Yeah, but that's the issue, right? So they didn't necessarily have a plan, but we just watched 3 hours of Raw. Where there's some stuff where it's just like, the guys are just aimlessly not doing anything either. So if this is truly a women's evolution, then it shouldn't be the first woman to do whatever. The women should be able to aimlessly do something whatever during Raw as well.
True.
Like that's where we should be versus, okay, it's women's evolution, now we have nothing. What other first can we do? There shouldn't be like, after you cross off all the firsts or anything, you can't think of another first, you should just let the women wrestle.
I agree.
Yes.
I would say the most important match this weekend is Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai for that reason. It isn't a legend match. It's an untitled match. It's a mid-card women's feud. It just says, look, who's going to be better? You know? That's real evolution. But moving on, who was trying to kill Roman Reigns? That's a question I have. Last Tuesday on SmackDown, he got almost demolished by scaffolding. Today he was in the car being like like called out by Samoa Joe, but someone tried to hit him in his vehicle. Like, well, it can't be Samoa Joe now. Who has Roman Reigns' number?
I think it's Baron Corbin.
What?
This just feels like a Baron Corbin thing. Everything he's doing feels very... Baron Corbin's been off TV. They've let us forget about him a little bit.
Yeah.
I know that I think a lot of us want a more poppy answer, something more interesting, but I just think it's Baron Corbin.
It's a very small call for Baron Corbin, though. Little tiny compact.
He doesn't seem as big as he really is, though.
Okay, fair enough.
Really? He's like massive, like just very lanky.
He is very lanky.
I always forget he's as tall as Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
That's true.
But because he seems tall, but he doesn't seem like he's as tall as Braun Strowman tall.
Well, the interwebs are saying Daniel Bryan, though.
The weight.
Okay.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, the chat does too. See, Big Face Hunter said Daniel Bryan. Managed to undo says Bryan did it.
Zeno Hour said Evan Mack was driving the car. I mean, he's not here.
I know.
And we haven't seen him all last week other than, wait, did we see him in NXT?
No, he wasn't. And Evan Mack is from Pennsylvania. I'm just saying, we're in Pittsburgh tonight. Mackie, where you at?
Last we saw him was on Raw.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that wasn't him. It's the Evil.
Oh, yeah. Let's not even talk about
For
that.
sure. We won't. Props for Samoa Joe for showing some sort of compassion, though, which I think it was awesome, and it was still in character, even though he was so mad at the same time. That conflict there.
It's like a cousin. It's like the cousin you hate, but you have to because they're still family. You're like, are you okay?
Yeah, I saw Hop
But I'll kick you.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it added weight to the moment that even someone like a Samoa Joe was not being like good or whatever. That he was like, hey, help. You know? But I do wish we could give Samoa Joe like a list of things that sound really nice to say, but have him say them in a scary Samoa Joe way to see just how scary he can be.
I think he could pull it off.
I love kittens and sweaters, but say it like Samoa Joe. I think that would still sound terrifying when he says
about you. That would be disturbing.
That's like a nice Instagram post. That idea. Look, I know you've been stealing our ideas here and there. That one's a really good one. Well, that one's for free.
That one's for. Why? Give
away boudoirs, give away free advice. Oh man, Brock Lesnar comes out because he has a match on Sunday against a very hobbly wobbly Seth Rollins. Proceeds to, as we say here on the show, beat the brakes off Seth. Sunday. Yeah, there you go.
My boy.
That's your boy?
Yeah. I'm a broccoli.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Who wins Sunday and how, Jack? Broccoli, how?
Brock.
How? How does he win on Sunday?
With 4 F5s.
4. That's the over-under.
4 F5s.
Wow, that's the most boring way. You have to count how many finishing moves he has to put away Seth Rollins, who's already hobbling.
Well, I mean, he would be able to do it in 1, but he's going to do 4. Well, he's going to do 3. Well, on the 3rd one, he's going to get reversed.
Okay.
But then he's going to get through it, and on the 4th one, he's going to finish it.
Oh my gosh, it's like we were talking about.
It's Jim, man. He's a broccoli.
Seth look like Jesus, and you're like on the 4th finishing move. Because he kind of did look like Jesus, and it kind of seemed like he was about to, like, right before they hang him on the cross, the promo he did just sounded like, my father is just giving a lot. It's just, anyways. You had to be there. But yeah, I honestly think that's what's going to happen as well. Because I think Brock is going to be in it for a long haul like he is as per usual.
Okay, so if Seth loses on Sunday, he goes to the back of the line, Jack?
No.
I think, not back of the line, I think he'll probably kind of do like a Baron Corbin right now where he's off TV for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to see him come back with something a little different. He's gotten pretty stale, I think.
Seth or Brock?
Seth.
So I just want to make sure that, okay.
Yeah. Brock's not stale.
Whatever.
No, but I think we need Seth off TV for a minute, and then ideally have him come back with something a little more interesting than I'm a good wrestler and I'm going to fight all the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe he and Becky are going to go on vacation. They haven't been on vacation in a minute.
Oh, because they're boyfriend and girlfriend. It's hit every single week.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know.
Right, they're
they
together.
Do CrossFit together. They wrestle together. They drive together.
Do you know who's together? Maria and Mike Kanellis. They go to the OBGYN where Mike Kanellis becomes 24/7 champion by hug pinning his wife. Which we were asking this last week. How exactly someone get the belt off him? He didn't.
Did Jim say that?
He said
somebody said something like that.
Something like after hours, kind of like, someone climbs up on Maria. But,
yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about like right for Jim.
And somehow R-Truth gets it back, right? He rolls him up. So we thought this was a Chapter 2 of 24/7 title, but R-Truth is still in the mix. Is it still entertaining?
The baby was... R-Truth makes it entertaining.
Sure.
His personality, how he does it, it's stale, but he makes it entertaining. I wish he would have did it next week. Like they don't. So what? I don't know. It's entertaining, but it's just like it goes away for a little while. I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I was really enjoying this Maria champion run, I guess we'll call it, because she was being such a good heel. She was being so obnoxious and so annoying. I was really excited to see how she loses the title, and I thought it was a new, as you had mentioned before, like a second chapter to the 24/7 title.
Right.
I agree. R-Truth is totally selling it, but I thought that would be kind of a good way to go for a little bit, to give maybe R-Truth being the champ a break, and maybe even give him something to chase instead of just getting it back again.
Right.
I do like that Mike had it for just a second before losing it, because I do love how he's such a loser as a character.
Yeah.
You know, like his character, it never goes well for him, and it's so funny how I'm starting to feel so sympathetic for this poor guy.
You like him.
Just now you're feeling sympathetic for him?
Because I didn't know what to think at first. When the whole thing started on Raw, it was just very cringy.
Yeah, it was.
I was like,
cringe. Yeah.
But now I'm like, come on, Mike, you can do it. You can.
So
She's been busting his balls since they came back. Like at least 2 years.
Absolutely.
At least 2 years.
So can I say you're a Mike Kanellis fan? Is that too bold to say
That's
that?
probably a little too bold to say. I'm not buying any stock in Mike Kanellis just yet.
Yeah, why isn't Carmella winning it? Why is she always like on a, you know what I'm saying? Like she's won the belt before, not 24/7 belt, but she's won the women's championship belt before. Why isn't she chasing that? Like, I understand you helping R-Truth and he's your friend.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, then why, when R-Truth share, or like,
Sure.
hey, we can share, we can go back and forth.
As much as I like Carmella, she's clearly benefited from R-Truth having it and being like, I'm with R-Truth. But you're right. She does have a right to have that title belt. That's right.
How far along is Maria? Is she really pregnant?
Yeah, she is.
How long until she has the baby? Like,
I think 5 months, 4 to 5 months.
oh, that's
now.
a little bit of a
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a wait. Then I was gonna say it'd be great if she had it until afterwards, and then you have Carmella be the one to corner her, and now all this trash talking she'd been doing for months, she has
Yeah.
to face up to.
Go for roll up.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure
but
they're
that's
gonna figure out
That's
something.
too long. That'd drag on too long if it was 5 months.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about this match really quick because it was interesting to me. So the New Day takes on the OC. The OC, and it becomes a 6-man tag with AJ and Ricochet getting the mix. So, Jack, I know your favorite wrestler of all time is, what's his name?
Lance Storm.
No. Luke Gallows. No, we argue about this all the time, because I think everyone gets one person on the roster they can't stand, minus Chad Gable, but for some reason, Gallows is
Chad
the guy.
Gable's like barely on, not even, when's the last time we saw Chad Gable? How are
That's
you
the
going to
one-
hate a man that's not even on
That's
TV?
the one I pick. That's what I'm rolling with for the end of time.
my gosh.
What's wrong with Gallows, Jack?
He's a dork.
He has the face paint now.
He's supposed to be the big scary enforcer of the OC,
Right.
and he looks like a nerd. He doesn't seem intimidating to me. I don't know if it's because he's been beaten so many times. I don't know if it's just the way he looks or he carries himself. I just do not believe him as a tough, scary, badass guy. He just seems like a dork. He seems like the big nerdy guy that no one wants to hang out with.
Okay. TK, the crowd doesn't seem too into the OC as the new iteration. What do you think about the group itself?
I'm not feeling it. I feel like they have to try. Like I've said, I think a couple weeks ago, if you watch the YouTube channel, they actually cut it out, so we do little clips from the show. But if you saw a couple weeks ago, it's like they do this show every single week for years upon years. We're on year 25, so it's just kind of like you have to try something, and you can't try it in the background and then like expect to be a finished product outside. They have to try something different,
right,
because it will get stale.
Right.
So I'm not feeling it, but maybe they'll make some tweaks that we will start feeling it. But at this moment, I'm like, not for it.
So the group collectively also, not the fact that AJ is a heel, could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So you wouldn't buy their merch. Totally understand.
No. Well, I already told you I have like 3 shirts. I have Naomi's shirt, I have the Uso shirt, and I think I have John Cena shirt. Bullet Club. That's all the shirts I have.
You have a club, but not the OC. I love it.
It does feel like it's just leaning on.
Oh, and NWO.
The NWA or NWO?
Actually, both.
Yeah, the NWA and NWO
Yes.
shirts. So yeah, like 5, like 6.
Yeah.
Then that's not 3.
Well,
Yeah, no,
that's because Xbox.
It feels like the only thing that's holding the OC together, other than AJ being amazing, is that it has a history in Japan. And if you were to take away that backstory that isn't even able to play out on actual WWE,
And why aren't we
no
playing
one
it out?
cares. I mean, they should. I think we could go back and do hindsight booking about it and what they could have done, but here in 2019, with just what we have today, it feels like it's unnecessary. It feels uninteresting.
Actually, I think they did talk about it when like they were all on either Raw and SmackDown together. They did mention it, but it's almost like they took a break for maybe like half a year to a year, like them separated. They can mention it again because the whole goal for any TV show is to get new viewers. Mm-hmm. So why not explore that storyline? It's not like wrestling in Japan is direct competition from WWE. So like, why not do that angle? Because people only know that angle if you're a true wrestling fan.
Sure.
Or if you're fans of, the Bullet Club. So it's just like, I don't know.
Well, I as Flobo said, I am a late period WCW super fan, and so I am a massive NWO fan, and Bullet Club is essentially, I would say, an echo of the NWO. Ooh. And so if they were to do a real like Bullet Club or a club thing where they're adding tons and tons of people, I'd be into it. 2? Wow. Jim, it's not you, it's the seat. I think that's the problem.
Moving on, it's now time for my favorite part of the show. It's now time for TK's Boudoir. Did we get that clip, girl?
I think, oh yeah, we're gonna get the thanks Dylan for the clip.
TK's Boudoir. Shout out Dylan Matthews, y'all.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that.
This is actually 50 Shades of TK.
Nah, it's 50 Shades of something.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Well, shout out to Dylan for creating this. It was quite interesting. Quite a highlight to my Thursday.
Did you get him a promo code for Center In?
Well, yes, I'm going to get to that. TK's Boudoir.
You should get him a promo code.
Dylan?
Yeah. Put the work in.
Yeah, Dylan's could get the promo code.
All right, cool.
So for TK's Boudoir is brought to you by Center In Skincare and Candles. If you want any cocoa butter, body scrubs, all that good stuff, you can go to centerincompany.com, put in the promo code AfterBuzzTV, and you get a discount off. So courtesy from me to you. And today's Boudoir is a former AfterBuzzer, Selena Vega.
Okay. Yeah, Yeah.
What?
She's very good at what she does on screen with Andrade, being a business manager.
Oh, that, yeah. She, was
you
something
are
totally
insinuating
different.
my yes. I feel offended. Go on.
I was going to say, I agree. I liked her glitter outfit.
Oh, broccoli.
This is why I don't have a boudoir.
And I think new boudoir members, I don't think I've ever put them in. Let's throw in the New Day.
What? The
Yeah.
DNA has never been the boudoir.
No.
I feel like they should have been.
Why? Because they're black?
No, because you like them. You talk about them a lot. Like you talk about the Usos a lot. Why are you putting race into it, TK? You're making it all weird.
I think it's really easy to say it to you.
Take it, Jericho. Why are you putting race in all this?
But I mean, they've grown a lot. And actually, we were talking about Xavier, and I don't know, maybe Boyce or somebody could search through everything. If there is a deal with the whole up, down, down, and him being sponsored by game companies, because do you remember like last weekend, one kid, I think he was like 13 or something, won $3 million for Fortnite. So I'm just more curious, but shout out to all of them. And their evolution.
Shout out to Dylan Matthews, who says the chat is putting TK Trinidad in the boudoir, which is kind of like a recursive thing, because if it's TK's boudoir, shouldn't you be there all the time?
It is my birth fest.
You can't have holidays all year round about your birthday.
That is Evan's. So my birth season technically just finished.
How long the birth season?
It was 6 weeks.
Longer than Coachella.
Yeah,
Go on.
but I injured my calf muscle. For you guys who aren't following me, I didn't really put it out there like that. But I injured my calf, so I wasn't able to really walk for like a week and a half, and I still kind of.
So you missed it.
I kind of missed it at the end.
The end.
So I'm having a pool party next week, and then I have another event after that. So it's like a birth fest.
I don't know why you're surprised by this, Flo, but I take work off for her birth season.
For what you?
I mean, it's a holiday.
You guys are living lives like video game characters. You guys are awesome. Moving on, Becky Lynch made news this week being the first ever female cover artist for WWE 2K20.
Wait, first ever female?
Yeah.
Wasn't Ronda on it last year?
No, she was a special edition. Like, you had to buy extra, like, pack it down. She's the first ever, like, regular edition female cover artist with Roman Reigns in the background. A little bit of controversy because you had two artists for the first time, one of them being Roman Reigns. But shout out to Becky Lynch, who's doing a thing. Another step, I guess, in the evolution we were talking about earlier. But speaking of Becky, she teams up with Charlotte today and takes on Trish Stratus and Natalia, which was a
Canadian sensation. Sorry.
Which was a really odd pairing, I thought. What does that even mean?
Why is that an odd... Wait, who's the odd pairing?
It was an odd pairing because Becky Lynch and Charlotte don't see quite eye to eye usually, and Natalia and Trish Stratus are both legends, kind of, but we didn't know if Natalia was the face in this match against Becky on Sunday, or she was a heel, but Trish Stratus definitely is the face. So they were put together in a team, and
we know why they were paired together, because they're Canadian, and they've been friends forever.
True. That's true. Well, we saw Natalia not breaking the hold, getting disqualified, so she's definitely established she's a bad person. Mm-hmm. But Trish Stratus making the save. Does that make the man look weak, though?
No, she's been put over she's been doing so well for so long. I think she's fine. I think Natty's doing an amazing job in this whole thing. When this whole feud started, I was like, whatever. She's just getting thrown to Becky to get destroyed. But I absolutely believe her as a threat. Yeah. After this time, she's done an amazing job getting built up.
And this might be her exit too. Like, this might be her last legitimate time of actually having opportunity to get the belt and or getting the belt. And if you get it in Canada, I mean, I think Evan was here where I think it might have been last week, or I don't know, one of these weeks. Yeah. Where he's saying it's rare that somebody wins in their hometown, but Naomi won in her hometown, Orlando.
She did.
So it's just kind of like, why not?
Second question I have for you guys then. Can Trish Stratus still hang?
Does it matter?
It does. I mean, I think a lot of times with legends, we always wonder if they still got it.
But they still bring the legends back. Like, we've seen and I'm not going to name names, but we've seen so many decrepit legends hobbling around, attempting to do something. Like, it's one thing when you have the anniversary, but it's another thing when you legitimately bring them back and you know they can't go.
I got ripped apart for Goldberg 30 minutes ago.
I know,
right?
Right, correct.
It's Trish Stratus, though.
I don't know. I got
Trish Stratus, though. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't, like, she can go. Here's the argument.
Okay.
If you're gonna bring back old folks, then why not bring back Trish Stratus, who's also a legend? I don't prefer it. I think there's plenty of people in the locker room, but again, if it's a woman's evolution, if you're bringing back men, why can't you bring back women as well?
I think it's a different issue. I guess I'm sticking within the women's division, for example. I personally think Trish Stratus can still hang. At Royal Rumble this year, Maria Menounos was in the ring, and she could not hang. And that's within that division. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a woman thing versus man thing. I'm just saying, do you think Trish Stratus as an individual can still compete?
Yes. Well, I don't even want. She's pregnant. I don't even want to say anything bad about her. Fair. I mean, come on. The skill levels between the two.
I ask questions.
It's very
on
obvious.
A different level.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That was my point.
And I would say, in all fairness, TK, to the comparison to Goldberg, I think the difference with Trish is she's likely putting over Charlotte as opposed to Goldberg likely going over Ziggler.
But do we need either of them to enter in the ring anyway?
We don't need them, but I think it's still fun to see. I like to see Trish Stratus again.
Well, it's been a minute since I for obvious reasons, like to see Trish because I'm always like Canadians, but
fair. It's true.
So it's very biased. But we haven't seen her in a while, so I do like the fact that they're bringing her back because we did see her last year. So maybe this is going to be a build up to some other women's things that they're going to have, or maybe it's just like Trish is like, my kids are a little bit older now, and I can just come whenever you need me. Sometimes.
It's all good times. Real quick matches that we had your boy Andrade going over Rey Mysterio, and the Viking Raiders over two guys I don't remember, Jay Alexander and Eric Abraham. Tonight's matchup between Cedric Alexander and Drew McIntyre had Kurt Angle as a special guest referee. The match went to a no contest when the Fiend appeared and attacked Kurt Angle. Well, even though the Fiend has a match with Finn Balor, it seems that he's gone after Angle, Balor, Foley. Is there a pattern
Maybe
here?
He's going after Roman Reigns too.
Possibility. Is there a pattern? And what will that pattern be?
It seems like he's attacking a lot of, outside of Finn, he's attacking legends. But I think right now, I don't think there's I don't think there's really a pattern. I think they know that he can get heat by attacking Kurt Angle in his hometown. And he'll get heat by attacking Mick Foley. And those are guys that can be on the shelf without really losing anybody.
Mm-hmm. So not like a legend killer thing, you don't think?
I think maybe it's like a cleansing thing. Like he wants to cleanse almost what Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler tried to do at one point when they were together, but they just didn't do it successfully. But he can do that where it's just like it's a split personality and one personality, because a lot of people, and this is going to get really dark really quick, but a lot of people who almost do like mass murders and stuff like that, they think they're actually doing it to help, or let's not go there. Thanos. He actually thought he was actually doing it to help the planet.
Sure, the villains think they're the heroes.
Right. So why can't we use that concept? Because I was going to go super dark, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I understand, because I know there was a couple of weeks when he had that pyramid with Finn. He was like, you hurt me, Finn, and the whole funny funhouse thing. Right. And now we're seeing the Fiend action. I thought it was kind of weird he was using the mandible claw. I don't know if that was his actual move or just trying to do the whole Mega Man. I took Mick Foley's finishing move and using somebody else kind of a thing. I'm not sure if that's part of a thing.
I wonder if that's part of his. This is gross, but let me in, and he's sticking his hand in their mouth.
Oh, that will work. That would be gross. That totally would work.
It's kind of weird, but I actually thought the reason he did it to Mick, and maybe the reason he's doing it to Kurt Angle, is just because they don't want to take a Sister Abigail. Just for I don't know what kind of health situation they're in, but maybe they're just like, I don't want to do that, as opposed to just.
I don't think so. They both seem like they're committed to the sport, that they would do it.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's case. He lost to Baron Corbin, comes back and gets a finger in his mouth in Pittsburgh.
No, I meant more like maybe, I don't know what health condition Mick Foley's in, for instance. Maybe it's no, for health reasons I don't want to do it because my neck is all banged up or something.
Sure.
And so maybe that's a safer way, because he didn't do it to Finn. He did the Sister Abigail to Finn. But I don't know. Maybe he's just taking the move. It's a cool. I think it's a cool move for someone like him to have, because it's a creepy, gross move.
Ugh.
Right.
So gross. There's certain things where it's I can never be a wrestler. No, that's one of them. It's no thanks.
Yeah, knife edge chops, falling on my back, hitting the ropes. Couldn't do it.
Hitting the ropes. Walk to the ring, I can't do it. 6 days away from my favorite night of the year, SummerSlam. Let's go through the card real quick and just do some quick predictions. Brock Lesnar takes on Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Becky Lynch takes on Natalya for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley takes on Ember Moon for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Kofi Kingston gets Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Kevin Owens against Shane McMahon. If Kevin Owens loses, he has to quit or be fired, or he quits.
I feel like didn't we do that when Shane jumped off the cage a year or two ago, and it was a quit match too?
I think that was against the Miz at WrestleMania, the Falls Call Anywhere match.
Are you thinking of Undertaker at WrestleMania?
No, I swear it was against KO.
Okay. Well,
anyways, it's too late for that. But.
Finn Balor takes on Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, I guess. The Fiend will appear. AJ Styles takes on Ricochet for the United States Championship. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. That is official. And Trish Stratus against Charlotte Flair. So, any predictions of who you think is going to come on top here?
Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt were supposed to go against each other, but I think Bray had gotten sick. Something happened. And then Finn ended up going against AJ. So, this Finn and Bray thing, if Finn comes out in the full Balor makeup
Demon?
and everything, and Bray does that might be a really, really good match.
Might steal the show.
Yeah,
he did it last SummerSlam. The Demon.
Yeah, but he didn't. Him and Bray. I don't think him and Bray ever actually got together, because Bray has been out for such a long time.
Yeah, he has. Jack, for you, any kind of match that ends up by steal the show for you?
Oh, obviously Ricochet and AJ Styles, I think, is gonna just tear down. I feel real bad for whoever's following them. I think they're going to tear it down. I have no idea who's going to win that one, because I don't know where either of them go if they lose. And I think I think that's going to be the show-stealing moment of the night. And I think that Ricochet could be a made man after that match.
Well, bold claims. I know he's been in the mix for a long time, but he does need that one match to put him in that stratosphere.
He also needs mic skills.
That's true. You can't knock that at all. I am actually most curious about that Bayley match, even though I don't know, those who watch the show, I'm a big Bayley fan. But just Ember Moon's quick rise from being someone who couldn't handle Mandy Rose being pushed into this main event scene. I know she's a capable performer, but I almost felt like her SmackDown tenure has been a discredit to that. Now will be the chance to show, can she really hang with the girls in that division?
Yeah, I mean, all we really need is a good match from Ember Moon. Like she came out of NXT and she had an amazing match with I believe Asuka a couple of years ago. I remember I saw them in Brooklyn. She came out of NXT and everybody was excited because she came with so much vigor, like they all do, and they just had nothing for her. And we've just seen her partner with random people, and we just didn't know what her direction is. And I still think we don't know what her direction is.
No, I don't get it.
However, if she gives a really great match, that might have some onlookers who maybe just watch the pay-per-view, they're like more casual fans, actually pay more attention to her, which is what she probably needs.
Yeah. Not a fan of the contacts, but that's very, very superficial on my part.
What contacts?
The contacts. She wears the orange contacts. She screams in the.
She's been wearing the contacts.
I still don't like it. I'm not a fan
It's
of it.
because she acts totally different backstage. It's my biggest wrestling pet peeve. She's like reading books and playing video games, and she comes out and she's like, "Rawr!"
Yeah, it's true. See,
She's getting the hype in.
Okay.
It's just no different than an introverted athlete. They're like
I don't
behind
know.
stage, and then they get outside, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna kill everybody."
She's a werewolf.
I feel like if the Usos were at like the line of Jack in the Box, they'd be like, "Lockdown, penitentiary." Like they'll be a character the entire time. But for Ember Moon, I don't
yeah,
quite
but
see
that's
that.
their personality. Like, this is, I think, the different. This is a whole rabbit hole as far as like characteristics and personalities. It's like in between introverts and extroverts. Like extroverts have easier time. They'll have an easier time being wrestlers because they've been doing this all their lives.
Sure.
Whereas somebody who's an introvert who loves wrestling, but naturally they don't like being around people and they're not this boisterous, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for them. So, you know, I'm willing to bet Ember Moon, from the stuff I've seen on her social media, she's not that, you know, in your face, let's party all the time type girl. So she's going to have to figure it out. And it takes some time to actually figure out who your true personality is in front of a big audience.
That's a good point. Valid point. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of the Monday Night Raw After Show. But before we get out of here, where can the world find you on the internet, Jack Farmer?
Yeah, you can find me at jackcfarmer.com if you're looking for a host, DJ, or MC for live events. I'm also at Real Jack Farmer on all social media. So if you want to go ahead and check me out there as well. I'm also going to be on the AfterBuzz SummerSlam edition this Sunday, August 11th.
Oh, you got invited to that. Oh, cool. My name is TK Trinidad. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. You can also go to the website, tktrinidad.com. There's going to be updates of a lot of different things. As well, I'm really excited. There's going to be 3 new shows coming out at the end of this month. So be on the lookout for that. That's all going to be debuting on tktrinidad.com. And also, if you want your skincare stuff, you can go to centerincompany.com. Thanks, guys.
Wow. At Flobo Boyce on Twitter, at Flobito on Instagram, and Flobito.com. I, along with the man Jack Farmer, this Sunday SummerSlam after show.
You got invited too.
I got invited. I'm there. I mean, you're not there, but I'm going to be there. It's going to be amazing. But until next time, buzz you later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.